All right, Ocho, got another one for you.
What happened?
Shedeur Sanders was reportedly pissed at the Giants during his private pre-draft visit per Albert Breer. The Giants won. They give players an install, and there are mistakes intentionally put in the install. He didn't catch them and got called out. He was pissed that they did that to him. Now, before we get into this, Ocho, I told you and I had a conversation. I said, Ocho, unless teams tell us what their draft grade is on Shadur, right, then and only then can we. The Cleveland Browns says we didn't have a first or a second day grade on. A first day grade on. Right. They said that. So unless the other 31 teams come out and tell you, Ocho, man, I don't know why. Okay, I had this grade on him. Some teams say they had him as a third day option. Right. Albert Breer and Ocho, we were talking. I said normally, Joe, what they do with the quarterback. They're bringing in a quarterback. They'll send plays and look, okay, here's the plays we want you to break them down, want you to diagram. Blah, blah, blah. Or they'll get you in, says, okay, here's the play. Two-jet, flanker drive, red right, two-jet, flanker drive. Okay? Z motion. So the Z is the flanker. Yeah. He got the drive route. Tight end, got the basic cross. We can run the dig, we can run a dig, or we could just have the X run a post to clear it out to make sure ain't nobody, backside, right, and then got the rim right, got the back, check it. So we tell you that. Okay, we tell you what's happened is if you get this front, this here's where you go with the ball. You get this coverage, you go here with the ball. So now, Ocho, the play's long now. They got this, red right, yeah, Yogi, sample, X-bed, diverse, to this, to that. Right. So they tell the quarterback this. Now, they show it to him on the board. Then it goes dark. They say, okay, go draw the play on the board. And they want you to regurgitate what you told them. Mm-hmm. Because as a quarterback, you have to have great recall. Yes. Because if they call that damn play, Joe, in your helmet, you got to regurgitate it. Mm-hmm. Plus, you got to know, if I get this coverage, I go here. Yeah. If I get that coverage, I go here. If I get hot, I go here. Right. But a lot of times they're like, we want you to be a quarterback. Right. Now, knowing what you've heard, Cleveland Browns said we didn't have a day one grade on him. We had a more like a fourth or fifth, fourth or fifth round grade on him. Okay, fine. The Giants sent him plays to install, intentionally put mistakes in. He didn't catch the mistakes. They told him. He got upset that they didn't tell him. Ocho, what's your thoughts?
Listen, I understand teams have to do their just due when it comes to these meetings, these interviews, going over plays and having installs and having quarterbacks go up and explain plays. There are a lot of people, that play the game of football that can go into these meetings and these interviews and ace them. They can point out every mistake. They can do everything right. And you turn on the film, they sorry than the motherfucker. They sorry as hell. Can't play a lick of ball, but they're great. Right. They're great in the film room. They're great in it will come to drawing up plays. But when it's time to play where it actually matters, on game day on Sunday at 1:00, they're horrible. We know what you get with Shadur when he plays the game of football on Sunday. We watched him do it at Jackson State. We watched him do it in high school. We watched him do it at a very bad institution and turning that program around in Colorado.
Yep.
So what you telling me about him not knowing and him missing mistakes on something you purposely tried to trip him up on, okay, he didn't see it. He didn't see it. But I know what I get on the field. Why even play this game? What game are we playing? What are you proving by purposely putting mistakes in there? He's a rookie. He's coming in. He's young. Of course he's gonna miss it. Of course he's gonna miss stuff like that. Who wouldn't at the position?
Yeah, that's not his plays. If you were to give the game his plays at Colorado and then try to slip that in, because the BP, my position coach in Denver would do that sometimes. And I was like, nah, this is not a 70. This is a 50 protection. 50 protection, right. I'm in blocking. So 70 protection, I'm free to go. Mm. So you call a play knowing, and we had live colors, blue Detroit. That's a live color. That we get a stretch. We get what we call a bear front, a bear stretch, or a Navajo. We call it Navajo. Some people call it Joe. I've been teaching a little football. Okay. When you have the center and both guards cover, that's called a bear front.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to stretch it, we put somebody over the tight end, and we put the defensive end outside. That's called a bear stretch. The 85 Bears made that defense famous. That's a Buddy Ryan defense. Mm-hmm. So bear, both guards center covered. That's a bear defense. Now you stretch it. You put somebody over the tight end. You put the DN outside. So that's a 4-down lineman. And they found out the way you beat that defense, because what teams were trying to do, they was trying to take their tight end and block Richard Dent.
Big old Richard.
Bad idea. Hold on. And so if you did that, if you went out to blocking, the guy over you would come hit your quarterback in the back of his head. So they said, how about we do this? We fake like we go block this guy. When he see that, he gonna come. We just raise up and throw you the ball. Mm-hmm. Or what we do, we'll slide it, or we'll molly the protection. We'll take the tackle, we'll kick to him, or we'll take the guard to molly out to him. They started blocking it up. People got out of the Bear defense because you're one-on-one. Joe, no, Ocho, so you said, why play these games? Why put the mistakes in there?
How about
just have the man regurgitate the play.
Yeah.
Draw it up. Okay, here it is, Shadur. This is one of our best plays right here. Is this da-da-da-da-da. Okay, you see this coverage?
Where you going with the ball?
Now, if the coverage was this is cover one, single high safety. Now, if we had quarters coverage, or if we wanted to cover six, what we call cover six, Joe, we play quarters on one side, we play cover six, half the field on the backside, six kick. That means, we press on the two side, Joe. Yeah. That's what the kick come in, but we play in quarters, one side, half the field, the other side. That's why we call it 6. 2, 4, 6. Okay, now, go Shadur, call the play. Mm-hmm. You go into the line of scrimmage. Now, I done told you, I done gave you 3 names. This is where we go with cover 1. This is where we go with quarters. This is where we go with cover 6. Go to the cover, you call it. It's cover 1. It's cover 1. Blue 17. No. It's 6. It's 6.
Boom.
You see how chaotic it get?
Yeah.
Quarterback got to remain calm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because they joshing around, Ocho. They started one thing. Mm-hmm. They dilly-dallying around. They rock and rolling them safeties. The safety, they 2D. Mm-hmm. Now here he come. No, they shoot back the other way. You remember how the Steelers, Troy Polamalu be
at the line of scrimmage.
And the next thing you know, he in the hole or he in 2D.
Right where he's supposed to be at, yep.
So that, and I get it, but look, hey.
I mean, look, when you turn the film on Uncle Ocho, when you watching Shadur, like, for me, it's like the film shows the poise and patience that he has in the pocket. Although, everybody say, his line wasn't great. I thought he showed tremendous poise and patience.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like his talent will show in in-game situations. You got some guys, man, who are just performers, bro. They just know how to perform. Mm-hmm. And I've seen guys who wasn't great practice players, but man, you put them in the game, they know how to perform. And I feel like that's when his talent is show. I think he get his opportunity. I think he'll get in there and he'll get a chance to show what he can do, and his talents will be on display. But I think he's getting a knock for not having the athletic paralysis that his daddy has, and it's just not who he is as an athlete.
Yeah, listen, he has an opportunity. I think it's a blessing in disguise. The Browns have struggled on trying to find a quarterback since Bernie Kosar, and finding someone consistent, someone that can be a quarterback for that franchise for a decade straight. And I think God put him, in this position and sending him to Cleveland on purpose to give him that drive and that hunger. Not that he didn't have it already, but the purpose of giving him that drive and hunger to show everyone that passed on him, and obviously show the Cleveland Browns that you made the right decision in bringing me here. So I'm happy for him, despite what happened. Having to go in the 5th round. I don't know. I think it probably done a little fire up on him. He's gonna be all right. He's gonna be all right, because he definitely finna be there. He's finna beat everybody out. He might not beat Flacco out, But if Flacco struggles at some point this season, they're going to make that change.
Now, Flacco going to not look. Flacco going to have 350, 3 touchdowns, but 3 picks too now.
Yeah.
Now, Flacco, he'll equal opportunity employer. He going to help you, he going to help them. Joe, is there any similar situation to so what's the NBA pre-draft? What is it like?
NBA pre-draft, yes, guys go there and you do the agility test. I don't think guys sit out. From what I can remember, especially when I had to go through it, man, we had to do everything. Now what they've implemented is, you see a lot of guys, they had to play 5-on-5 now, scrimmages. Back when I was coming out, guys didn't have to do that, Uncle Ocho. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You go to a team, you have these individual workouts where, so I worked out for the top 10 teams in the NBA draft in 2001. So I worked out for 10 teams. And in those they were working me like a dog. So in those workouts, they invite 2, maybe 3 more other guys so y'all can play 2-on-2, so y'all can play 1-on-1. So we can see who is what. And
you cooking them, Joe?
Man, listen, I was getting to the chicken because coming out, I wasn't a top prospect to, some degree. Guys were telling me I was going to go top 10, but I didn't know. So I had to work out for the top 10 teams. And guys who were coming out in my time who was before me, well, that was a high school draft, the Kwame Brown, the Tyson Curry. Mm-hmm. But you still had the Jason Richardsons, the Shane Battiers, guys like that. So I was looking to work out against those type of dudes, to try to improve my draft stock. And I ended up getting drafted 10, but I don't know. After 10, I hadn't worked out for any of them other teams, so I wouldn't know what it would have been like.
Right.
Joe say, hey, I'm cooking something. I don't know about y'all, but I'm cooking today.
Man, look, you get once in a lifetime, bro. It's so close. It's right there in your hands, and you it's going to be left up to you, especially in those workouts, to these scouts, these coaches.
Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn cách làm một tấm lót cốc đơn giản từ len nha. Nguyên liệu mình cần có đây. Len 3 màu nha. Màu vàng này, màu đen và màu hồng. Mình sẽ kết hợp 3 màu này lại với nhau nhé. Sử dụng kim móc len để làm kéo này. Bây giờ sẽ bắt tay vào làm. Mình sẽ sử dụng cái phần len màu hồng trước đi. Mình gỡ len ra để dùng nhé mọi người. Giờ sẽ gỡ len ra. Bây giờ mình sẽ móc vào đây một cái hình tròn nhé. Đây, móc vào. Đây, móc vào. Mình sẽ móc từng cái mũi nở kép xuống. Đây, móc luân phiên từng mũi một nhé. Mũi tiếp theo. Móc tiếp nữa đây. Mình sẽ móc cho đến khi được hình tròn nhé mọi người. Mũi tiếp theo. Lần lượt như thế này là được. Rồi, móc tiếp xuống nữa. Tiếp tục nha mọi người.